Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Patriot Nation TV. I'm your host, Tim Davis, aka Professor X, your New Age Patriot, 1776 attitude. Just one man, one opinion, trying to make sense of it all in this bizarre world. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit like. If you're new to the show, hit subscribe, the notification bell. Would greatly appreciate it. So, I'm just going to talk about a couple things. Biden's war on oil, the assault of the Second Amendment, the war on Christians. Yeah, those are three things I want to talk about because that's what's actually happening right now. So, just to show you something real quick, the Biden's war on oil. We'll talk about that first. No, it's not just me. The Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal did a thing on it, a piece on it. You know? So, I'm going to take little snippets out of that, right? Biden's war on oil, how it's hitting the consumers. You know, they're trying to sell this false narrative of Putin's invasion of the Ukraine, his reason to gas prices, inflation, such buffoonery that it's not. So I'm just going to touch a little bit on it. Just tell you how it's not Putin's fault. I'll give you specific dates. I'll put it into a list in my descriptions. It's too much to list. I mean, I can name 15 off the top. 15 things Biden's policy has done. This is like for an argument. You've seen it on social media. They try blaming the CEOs of oil companies and everything but the culprit, which is Biden's policies. You know, if you really think about it, I'm just going to go from a time frame of Biden's inauguration to the day Putin invaded Ukraine for the defense of Russia. That's how I look at it. He was defending his borders. Gasoline prices climbed like 49% between Biden's inauguration and Putin's invasion. Just this week alone, the average gallon of regular hit $5, $5.02 nationwide. All right, that's today. But the day before the invasion, it was up 82%. And it was $4.40 a gallon. So you see what I'm saying? The prices rose a lot in an aggressive manner pre-Putin invasion or Putin war with Ukraine. You know, while I'm not, you know, while what Putin's doing, sure, it's helped elevate the prices at the pump. Sure. He merely has heightened the pain that the Biden and the Democrats already had perpetrated against American people. They did it from day one. Biden did that. Biden did that with his people. Give you an example. I mean, it's the words and actions, right? Pay attention to people's actions. Look at the promises that he made, that he actually kept. That's actually affecting the American people. Remember when he confronted that construction worker? One of the promises that he kept was, "I don't work for you." Remember when he said, "I don't work for you"? Yeah, it was, forgotten about, but he said it and he meant it. There's also a video of him going around to schools, colleges, confronting young voters, promising that he will stop drilling, no more subsidies to oil companies and refineries and et cetera, et cetera. No more drilling. No more drilling on federal land, including offshores. so on and so on. That's what he promised, and that's what he kept. That's what he did. Like I said, I can give a list. I'll put it in the descriptions, about 20 things that happened between inauguration and Putin's invasion, where we went from 2:30 to 4:35. Now we're at 5. So January 27th, 2021, Biden directed the Interior Department to stop oil and natural gas leases on federal lands and public works. Gas was $2.39. Let's go down to May 20th, 2021. Biden signed an executive order requiring federal agencies to calculate the highly speculative risk of so-called global warming. Kerry chirped in, it's going to change allocations of capital. Gas was $3.02. We want to go to July. Let me see, July. Janet Yellen, we'll leave her out. We'll go to August of 2021. Reuters reported Treasury to oppose development bank financings for most fossil fuel projects. Gas is $3.17. We can go to January 31st, 2022. The Biden administration will raise the royalty rate that drilling company must pay on oil and gas leases. It plans to sell in the first quarter. Gas was $3.37. February 2022. Team Biden announces it would accept a federal court's rejection on its few drilling leases. Gas was $3.65. May 11th, 2022. Biden pulls 3 offshore oil drilling sales, curbing any new drilling for this year. Gas rose to over $4, like $4.15, $4.25. And here we are. Here we are. End of June. Gas is over $5 nationwide on average. So here's a question. Here's a question I ask. Who wants and needs America and Americans to get weaker? Who? Forget about the common known and traditional enemies, socialism, communism, Nazism, whatever it is, fascism, whatever they want to call. Forget about the commonly known traditional enemies and think and ask yourself, who wants and needs America and Americans to get weaker? Because to me, it seems like everything's by design. I'm going to go with the left and the globalist. That's my answer. The left and the globalists want America and Americans weaker. And I'm talking about the American leftists. The WHO, WEF, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, the UN, United Nations, etc. That's what I'm talking about. They are pretending to stand alone for the world. They're making all these, by force, not needless to say, making all these treaties and wars and trying to stop wars over, and so on and so on. And it's been going on for a while. And it wasn't really until Trump came along, the fly in the ointment, Trump, the little gnat, the little fly in the ointment. It wasn't until Trump came along that people started to take notice with his American first policies and American nationalism, and not globalism, New World Orderism, reset, none of that on the world stage. It totally wasn't about it. He wasn't. That's why they had to get him out. That's why they're still dragging him through unnecessary nonsense. What's up next? Got to keep your eyes on the ball. Got this Hollywood script made for TV, television, January 6th committee going on. Bunch of clowns, circuses. What I've gotten out of it was the war on Christians. the war on Christians, and January 6th committee is proving it on a few things. We'll get to that. I mean, or just look back at COVID-91. Just look at it. That was basically like a test run. Shutting down churches, synagogues, mosques, stuff like that. Test run. For obvious reasons. But people really aren't paying attention to what these people are saying or their actions. They're not. Got to pay attention. Domestically and internationally, these people are a threat. It's right in front of us, all to see, and blatant. But no one seems to care. No one seems to notice. Just carry on their normal day. And that's where this war on Christianity has taken place. It's really taken place. We've seen it, I've seen it. I've seen it in the 90s under Clinton, Bush in the early 2000s, Obama. We've seen it. Went to a couple wars because of it. In Africa and the Slavic states, Serbia and stuff like that, Ethnic cleansing. It's really Christians getting slaughtered. But now we're seeing it here, but we're seeing it here in a different way. And out of this, let me just show you a couple of things here. Just out of this whole thing. The January 6th committee, this is one of the sources, early June. See that? January 6th committee must address Christian nationalism. The hearings in Congress provided an opportunity for public to see Christian nationalism for what it is. And it moves on into another tweet from MSNBC. It's becoming increasingly clear the United States is under siege by Christian fundamentalists and traditionalists. This is a tweet from June 9th, 2022. MSNBC reporter, journalist. All right? They had a Political did an article about the Governor Mastriano, who won the primary. They're calling this guy comes across as an occult guy. The Pennsylvania candidate freaking out both the left and right. They say Doug Mastriano came from nowhere. Popularity is fusing religion and politics in a new way. He's either the Democrats' dreams opponent or the establishment's worst nightmare. And it goes on to say Mastriano represents a growing style of politics. We don't have a common name for it yet. But in Pennsylvania and elsewhere, they have been calling it Christian nationalism. Worldview shaped by a fusion of Christian messaging and American identity, though Mastriano himself dismissed that label. It's right here, the Political. He's got to screenshot things, He's got to screenshot things. And in New York, that was early June also. White Christian nationalism is a fundamental threat to democracy, written by Sarah Jones. Right? It's not me. I'm just taking, screenshots of articles I just read. And then they're making threats. You can see it. You see it happening. They're making threats with the Roe v. Wade case, threatening justices going to their homes, breaking federal law. All for a fable. The Roe is nothing but a fable of progressive neoliberalism, buffoonery. Scary bunch of people. Sick breed of people, actually. So it's identity politics. That's what these people are known for, these identity politics, no? Singling out somebody. this brings me to, where is he? George Orwell. Okay, now he said in 1984, all tyrannies rule through fraud and force. But once the fraud is exposed, they must rely exclusively on force. So let this be a history lesson to you. 1984, based on, really the Bolshevik Revolution, and just learn history. Fast forward a little bit to Stalin's era. Stalin's secret police chief, Lavrentiy Beria, famously said, "Show me the man and I'll find you the crime." Show me the man and I'll find you the crime. This practice is a danger to individual freedom under the U.S. Constitution, and it's forbidden. The rule of law must be applied equally. Beware of those who are trying to apply laws to individuals selectively. White nationalists, black, white, just labeling everybody. The fact that our alphabet agencies, the feds, are weaponized against the American people should throw up red flags everywhere. It's everyone, regardless of political beliefs. The DOJ, FBI, everything's being used against the people. This country's in big trouble. I believe so. You can close your eyes all you want and remain silent. You can. It doesn't make a difference. The Democrat Party in their January 6th committee, which is totally it's a show. It's a show. And with the power, the FBI and everything else, they're set power with it issuing arrest warrants and FBI executing them. It's just ridiculous. America is without a doubt like a mirror image, like I hate to say it, like a Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany 1933, 1939. I know it sounds absurd, but if it's absurd, and false, should be easily be able to refute it. But that's just my opinion. That's where we're headed. That's what it seems like to me. But change my mind. Leave a comment. Debate me. That's how I look at it. The Democrats and a couple quisling Republicans are fighting. These quisling Republicans and Democrats are lighting a fire they won't be able to control. They kind of lit it already, but they're playing with it. And this is why the Democrats, brings me to my other topic, the Second Amendment, being assaulted and being infringed upon, being molested. And this is why the Democrats and the quisling Republicans are getting nervous without gun control. This is what they do in the third world countries, not the United States. It's just one more step towards tyranny by fascist Pelosi, Schumer, Nadler, people like that. And that whole crew of criminals. Attorney General Garland, criminals. It's just really, really sad. But you got to look at it like this. We don't need people to interpret what it means, the Second Amendment. We don't need the debates. The Founding Fathers already discussed that. The men that wrote the Second Amendment didn't just finish up a hunting trip. They finished liberating a nation, right? They weren't shooting, collecting, going hunting. No, they just got finished liberating a nation. And the only reason our government today, or world government, who's ever leading the charge, would want to disarm us, the people, the law-abiding citizens, after 245 years, is because they're planning something. They plan on doing stuff, and something to us around the globe, here in our land, that we probably shoot them for. As history has dictated over the years. And that, folks, is the truth. what the Second Amendment was written about. This is what they know. This is why they're trying to get rid of everything. Your firearms are the only thing preventing a complete takeover. And that's why they want them. It's the truth. For those who cannot see the tyranny in having a gun ban enforced by men with guns, then you fail to understand why the Second Amendment was written in the first place. And you'll never understand it. And if you were suggesting sending men with so-called weapons of war to take mine or Joe Schmo's or Betty Bandit, whatever, the average person's, to send them to take our alleged weapons of war, then I'm fairly certain that is what you would call an act of war. No? And the definition of tyranny, correct? Which coincidentally is the reason the Second Amendment was written in the first place. Just goes full circle. All gun control must be enforced by gun violence. And that's just the way it is. But anyway, that's my little 20-minute rant on this 3 topics I want to talk about today. So I'm going to sign off. Say goodbye, everyone. God bless you. God bless America. Peace out.